wonderful pre-K students. It's Mr. Moose with you today, and I'm in charge of telling you all about what you're going to be learning about with Mrs. Carey. Well, for starters, you'll be talking about the colors. Mostly the color yellow, since Y is still a letter of the week, which we're still learning about. But you'll also get to learn about wheat and rice and those sorts of crops today. And you can also learn about a nice Bible story about the loaves and fishes, and all about the season of spring, since, as you know, last week was the beginning of spring. What's that? Oh dear, let me just check something out real quick. Well, I'm sorry to have to say this, but I think I am no longer in charge of this show. There seems to be someone else trying to take over, so I'll see you maybe later. Alright, it's Sharky here again, the one that's really supposed to be in charge, obviously. I'm sure you're waiting all for me. So, why don't we get started with Mrs. Carey and see what exciting things we're going to be learning about today. Let's go. Why do we even bother when we know Sharky's going to take over? Beats me.
Hi boys and girls, we sure miss you. We're going to review a little bit of what we talked about earlier this week. Because of letter Y, we are doing the color yellow. And I thought we would just review our colors a little bit. If you are at home and you have one of these watercolor sets, hopefully you can review the colors on there and find yellow. One fun thing to do with watercolor paint is to take a white crayon, or you can use other colors as well, and you can write words like your name. It'd be great to practice your name, or the letter Y, or just make a picture and then use watercolor paint to paint over it for a watercolor wax relief painting. I would love to see a picture of what you create. Let's say though that you don't have any watercolor paints at home. Then one of the things that you could do is actually create some homemade paint. Now, the materials that you need are probably things that you already have at home. A small container with a lid, some teaspoons, some vinegar, cornstarch, and food coloring. What you're going to do is you're going to mix all of these up, okay? You're going to use a half teaspoon, just a half teaspoon of vinegar, a half teaspoon of cornstarch, and 10 drops of food coloring, all right? And you're going to put the vinegar, cornstarch, and food coloring in the container, shake with the lid on, and if it's a little too thick, you can add a little bit of vinegar. If it's too thin, add a little bit of cornstarch, and then use it just like the paint that we do in our preschool. All right, so it would be fun to see what you create when you use your homemade paint as well. I have a couple of books about the color yellow. This one is one that you might be familiar with because we have made several books in our classroom. I am going to scan this so that you can try making this book at home and then reading it to your family, along with a couple of other handouts that we're going to scan. One is our verse, which I will read with you in a few minutes. This one is a review of some of the different kinds of grain, and you can either glue pieces on if you have some of these staples in your home, or you can color them in, okay? It's going to be pretty easy to figure out which ones are like corn or wheat or rice. But anyway, I hope that you get a chance to do this. We'll also be sending you a little finding and counting sheet about little animals that you find in the spring, and what a sunflower needs, because a lot of people start their gardens this time of year. And then finally, something fun. This is something that you could do with the homemade paint. You could make your handprints, or you can also trace around them on colored paper, and you can make spring flowers. And so we'll give you that pattern. And the final thing that we're going to send to you to do at home is to think about the things in your home that you're thankful for, and also in your yard or nearby park if you don't have a yard. Okay, so those are some things that we're going to send home with our email as well as attachments. But I'd like to read this book. It's called God Made the Colors. And yellow is one of our primary colors, along with red and blue. And you remember Mrs. Joy and I talking about these colors and how and a lot of you have already done this at the easel, when you mix red and yellow, you get orange, yellow and blue, you make green, and of course blue and red, you make violet. And then you can have different blends of these colors. This is what it would look like as a flower and then as a color wheel. And this also shows you how when the colors get mixed together, what they make. I hope that you get a chance to do some color mixing at home. Anyhow, this is called God Made the Colors. We love colors, colors God made. God made every single shade. Red, red, we love red. Like that barn painted bright barn red and that woodpecker's bright red head. Yellow, yellow, see that letter Y? We love yellow, the color of the sun, its brightest beam, the yummy color of lemon ice cream. You may have noticed a Y at both ends of that word. Do we love blue? You bet we do. The color of God's sky? Yes. The color of Mama's polka dot dress. But God made other colors too. They come from mixing yellow, red, and blue. Mix red and yellow and what do you get? Orange, orange is what you get. Look, they have their own easel. God mixed colors and made them glow. He made bright orange for nature's show. The color of a leaf about to drop, the color of a farmer's pumpkin crop, the color of his carrot, of his hat, of his orange-colored cat. Green is a super color too. We get it by mixing yellow and blue. We love green. How about you? It seems to be God's favorite too. It is the color of nature all around, of most things that grow out of the ground. Though all greens share a single name, all greens are not the very same. Some are dark, some are light, some are dull, and some are bright. Hopefully you're seeing a lot of green now that we're getting some of spring rain. The fact, friends, is also true of all the other colors too. Colors, colors, dull and bright. God made colors dark and light. Wait, what about purple, which, don't forget, is also known as violet? We get purple, rich and fine, when red and blue we combine. It is the color of grapes on the vine, the color of feet that make grape wine. We love yellow, red, and blue. We love green and orange too. And purple, of course, which, don't forget, is also known as violet. We see those colors and lots more at the paint and hardware store. Beige and tan, buff and brown, the colors of the bears in our town. God made bears and people too, of different color, different hue. We love the color of every bear and the color of people everywhere. God paints sunsets at the end of the day. At the night, the colors all fade away. It grows dark and darker still. Will the colors come back? Yes, yes, they will. God makes the dawn of another day. The sun comes up, hooray, hooray. We get up, go out, and say, God made the colors red, yellow, and blue. We love green and orange too, and purple, of course, which, don't forget, is also called violet.
Boys and girls, I get to be part of the mystery can today because Mrs. Carey let me explain, or, well, she actually said just pick out the things, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, here we go.
This is letter Y, and it is for Yo-Yo. You might remember us playing with one on our last video.
Yes, I remember that.
Do not eat the card.
And when I won at Scrabble.
Well, that's debatable. Anyways, Y is for yawn. Oh, you're pretty good at yawning, aren't you, Sharky? Oh, look at that. That looks a little scary. You have a scary yawn. A lot of teeth there. It's also for yarn and yak. Y is for yo-yo, that goes down and comes back. And I have a little surprise for you, Sharky. Are you ready?
Okay.
Look at this. Now you're going to behave yourself, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, anyway, so much for that trick. Would you like to reach into our letter Y can and find some treasures? You have 2 there. Now, all the preschool boys and girls know we can only do 1 at a time.
But I'm a shark.
Do you know what this is?
Yawning.
Yes, and we just
I'm
demonstrated.
doing it again.
Okay, but we're not going to eat anything while we yawn because that's not what yawning's for. Okay, ready? Sharky, do you know if that's an uppercase Y or a lowercase y?
Lowercase, and it looks delicious.
Well, okay, so I quickly have to get this away from Sharky because Sharky likes to eat letters. Boys and girls, do you remember that if you picked this letter or another letter from the soup can, you got to go find it in the room? I wonder if you can find this in a book at home or maybe on a cereal box or some other packaging that has words. That would be really fun for you to do today to find the lowercase y. Well, Sharky, this can is full of treasures. Oh, what is this? Oh, no. Yak doesn't want to be eaten. Yancey Yak is actually our zoophonics animal this week.
I thought I was.
Of course, you're always our animal. There, Sharky. You make me a little nervous sometimes, Sharky. This is a yak, a real life yak picture. And, yeah, but not your breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Sharky. Sorry. All right, carry on.
Okay.
Oh, now this is something that we could all eat, right? Have any of you had yogurt this week? I hope so. It's pretty good stuff. All right. And I'd like to show you how yak is spelled. That one is a pretty easy one to learn. Okay, Sharky, you ready to pick a few more?
Okay.
All right. Whoa. Yay, good job.
I remember that from earlier.
Yarn, yes. And there it is, Y-A-R-N, yarn. I wonder if you have been working with yarn at all this week. One of the things that you can do with yarn is take a paper plate and make little slits in it all around and then wrap the yarn all around and you can make a design. And just tape it on the back when you're done. It's kind of like the first step of weaving. A yo-yo! How fun! Sharky, do you know how to play with a yo-yo? Oh, good. Well, we'll let you play with that for a little while because I need to talk to the boys and girls about the last thing in our soup can, which is the uppercase Y, which is really fun to make with your body, right? You can use your arms and the rest of your body to make it. I hope that you have your writing books at home and you're trying to work on those pages. And hopefully you can see the difference between the uppercase and the lowercase y. All right, that's all about letter Y this week.
Yay! Now it's time for a little break. Then we're going to part 2. Stay tuned.